Once upon a time, there was a little girl named China. Actually, she was quite large, but since rotund stick figures are harder to draw, let's stick with her being little. Poor China was born with schizophrenia, and her internal conflicts kept her busy through her childhood. Unfortunately, this schizophrenia made her vulnerable to attacks by her peers, who decided to take advantage of her when they sensed that she was weak due to her multiple personalities going wacko. See, China was very appealing to the Europeans, who had gone through most of the other Asian and African countries and were now seeking to enter China. China, however, was not eager to so much as communicate with the Europeans, and saw herself as being above her southeastern slut friends, India, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Singapore, who had all been, invaded, shall we say, by the Europeans. Aside from being under the influence, European influence, that is, they appear to have all gone hat shopping together without China. Anyway, China knew she was above that, and thought herself to be more enlightened than the Europeans. Let's observe what happens when Russia tries to get with China. Hey, China, I hear you have, warm ports. I like warm ports. As if I would ever associate myself with you, barbaric European pervert! I'm far too enlightened to be wasting my time with you. And besides, you don't know what goes on inside me. Please, leave. And so China relieves her woes to Britain. And China lived happily ever after. Just kidding, it gets a lot worse, but Nora will be presenting that. Thank you.
Europeans wanted business with the Chinese, but the Chinese wanted almost nothing to do with the Europeans. Then, the East India Trading Company introduced Indian-grown opium to China. Side effects of the rather common malusage of the drug included addiction, and led to useless citizens who did not give back to the Chinese society. This, of course, made the drug rather unattractive in the eyes of the Chinese government. The Chinese government then tried to control opium input into China. The British didn't really like that, and proceeded to crush the Chinese in an opium war from 1839 to 1841. Hello there, old sport, I'm Great Britain. Today I'm going to be talking to you about how us Europeans really opened up China after the Opium Wars, which ended in 41. The first thing that I did after we won the Opium Wars was to buddy up with France over there and fight with China until they received our diplomats and dealt with our traitors. Of course, the Chinese didn't choose the easy way out, so after waging war against China in 1857, France and I burned the Emperor's whole bloody summer palace down. By George, we stole so many pieces of Chinese art, I especially love that one on the left, that we started a trend of Oriental decor in the West. Between this and the Opium Wars, China was pretty much forced to sign anything we bloody well asked of them. The Treaty of Nanking, 1842, that resolved the Opium Wars, and the Treaty of Tientsin, 1857, which resolved the second conflict, were duplicated for many European powers, not just France and Great Britain. China, of course, tried to stop all this, but really, look at him. How much good was he doing all the way back there? The terms of these treaties became known as the treaty system. Under it, I, Great Britain, got Hong Kong in 1842, and over a dozen port cities were opened up to us Europeans, including, but not limited to, Shanghai and Canton. These were treaty ports. Us Europeans were immune to Chinese law here, and pretty much all over China. Ha! China also had to pay huge war indemnities. Who cares if they had been the ones who had lost? Their agreement to charge no import duty over 5% gave us a huge free trade market for European products. But even after all the pillaging and such, we were still best friendsies, us Europeans and the King government. After all, they darn sure needed us, and who would we push around if they were to fall?
Hello, history class. As you can imagine, drawing those comic things was a pain in the butt, so now I'm just going to talk to you. But it's a really short part, so bear with me. It'll be fun. And yeah. Oh, and I have my Chinese hat. I'm all in the mood. I've got my braid and everything. So far what we've seen is that a whole bunch of conflict has been happening inside China. But now all the other countries have decided to start cutting away at the territory around it, like on the edges of it. And so what France does is it assumes a protectorate over this place called Annam in 1883, and then it combines that place Annam, Cochin China, and Tonkin, which are now known as Vietnam, and Laos and Cambodia into this place called French Indochina. These areas weren't actually part of China at the time, but they had important political and cultural relations, and they paid tribute to the Chinese emperor. And then Japan, after having defeated Russia and all that stuff, Japan was like, oh, we can be all imperialistic now! Ah! So they looked to the Chinese mainland for land, and the south, and then they went to war with China in 1894 over disputes in Korea and ended up winning. So China had to sign the Treaty of Shimonoseki. They signed that treaty in 1895, and they ceded Formosa, which is now known as Taiwan, and the Liaotung Peninsula, which had Port Arthur at its tip, to Japan, and then they recognized Korea as an independent state. And after that, Japan had designs on Manchuria, which was in the northeastern part of China, and so other countries were like, oh no! Japan! Look! It's taking land, and that's bad. So they were shocked at its aptitude for modern war and diplomacy as a non-European country. That wasn't so long. So the next part is Nayla's. Bye.
Now we go on to politics in this great city of ours. The incumbent Japan is getting a huge challenge from his opponent Russia, who is running on a ticket of expansionism. He wants to build another metro line that would be called the Trans-Siberian Railway. This would run through Manchuria, I know, it's kind of a ghetto place, to Vladivostok, the prize of our city. I suspect that with all the funding and support from France and Germany, we will soon have a new leader in our capital. So, Japan, watch out for that chugga 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 train! Choo-choo! We move on to a segment called 99 Faces. Hello, I am the German. The Chinese are consolidating and modernizing, and we do not like that in Germany. So we are going to sabotage them by having a 99-year lease on Kiachao Bay and exclusive rights in the Shantung Peninsula. What will you guys do? I am from Russia. We want to take the lease on the Liaotung Peninsula. We would like to obtain the Port Arthur and rights to build railroads in Manchuria to interlock in our Trans-Siberian system. Oh, hello there, I am France. We are going to take a little bit of Queen Charles there. We are also going to take the British Way, which is over here a little bit. And confirm our sphere of influence in the Yangtze Valley. Oh, je suis bien. I'm the Italians. I want my pizza. I want the slice of pizza in the Asia. We want a bit of influence. Oh, come on.
No.
No. No. No. No. Okay, so I'm America, obviously, and we have a little bit of fears about you guys annexing, China or whatever. Basically, we think that it should be an open door policy, because that way we can still, like, sabotage them or whatever, but people won't annex them, and we can have, like, spheres of influence and stuff. It'd be so cool. And we should also maintain the 5% Chinese tariff, because that's, like, fair, you know. We're all about keeping it fair. And allow businessmen of all nations to trade without discrimination. Hello, I am from Britain, and we support the open door to discourage actual annexations by Japan or Russia. I guess we're not going to be able to be a power. Really, boxers? You're a Chinese secret society and your name is the Order of the Literary, Patriotic, Harmonious Fists. Really? How many adjectives do you need to describe your fists? Do you really need 3? Are your fists literary? Are they patriotic? Are they really harmonious? Really? Now, you want the Europeans out of your country. And you really think that it's a good idea to pull up their railroad tracks, like the Trans-Siberian Railway, attack Chinese Christians, and kill 300 foreigners. Let's see. Really, do you think that's going to get the European powers and Japan out? Well, actually, surprise, they combined an international force against you guys and put you down. Because you're boxers fighting against guns. Really? Now, they imposed more severe controls on the Chinese government and inflicted an indemnity of $330 million and more control of China. So really, you got exactly what you didn't want, and now you have to pay a huge debt. Really? Do you think this was a great idea, boxers? Let's think about it.